Smoke Some Podcast, episode 22. It's the visionary mind. I see it. I think it. I make it happen. We got another episode for y'all today. We got a special guest. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? I'm Melan. I'm an upcoming Detroit rapper.
Okay, so let's get into it. So, what part of the city did you grow up in? What part of the city are you from? Just give us a brief background on like where you from, man. East, west,
Okay. Well, I grew up on the west side. I kind of stayed west my whole life, to be honest with you. But, I know people east too. Got family everywhere. But, yeah, I mainly grew up on the east side towards like Linwood area.
Okay.
If you're familiar.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I grew up over there. I always been like in the hood. That's why my persona is so like trap based.
Yeah.
Because that's just me.
So like, how would you say like you like your how did you grow up as a child? Like what was your background like as a child?
Well, honestly, my background as a child was kind of tough because just being in a tough city like this, it's not a lot of people that are so like accepting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Towards certain things. And, I got a lot of flack for it growing up, but it just basically built my confidence.
Right.
No matter what I went through. So
I understand. So like, talk about how tough that can be, not being accepted and people misunderstanding like your journey and your path and the way you want to live your life.
Well, it's very, very tough just because, like, you always gonna, act like you don't care about certain things. But at the end of the day, when the lights go off and when you go to bed and it's just you, like, you do think about those things. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, it can be tough sometimes just having to, wonder why some people aren't, as open-minded as they should be. But I can't dwell on that. I just got to keep going forward and keep doing my thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we live in a tough city in general. Like, I mean, people are not accepting of like podcasts. Like, I go through like podcast politics.
Really?
Like people will be like hate or be like, oh, you should be like this show or you seem like this show, or people have like height bias. Like, oh, I don't like short niggas. I don't like tall niggas. Like, so it's always like it's always like people gonna always judge you no matter what walk of life or which you end up doing or whatever you decide in your life. So exactly. I just think like my advice to you, because when I came across your page and you contacted us, I could just see like some frustration, like as far as like how you felt about like your career, like maybe feeling like because you are a trans woman that people don't accept you and you only reaching a certain plateau of like certain like platforms and people like that. So can you speak to like what type of like biased or what are people like what opportunities have people kind of like shun you from because that you are trans?
Right. Okay. Well, I honestly feel like just being trans period and being, part of the LGBTQ community as a whole, like it's just a lot of people that still may be new to it just because it's just now becoming a little bit more like, like you're seeing it every day type stuff. Versus like probably like back then you would see it, but it wasn't as common. And
right.
Now it's like more, since we're in the social media era, like it's a lot of that popping on the social media now, you know what I mean? So it's just, honestly, I just don't really try to like let what people may like turn down to me or whatever is not given to me, like I don't want that to be the reason why, even though it may be.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just because I feel like a lot of people get doors closed, you know what I mean? No matter if you straight, gay, trans, like it doesn't matter. Like you always gonna get doors closed in your face regardless, but you just have to have the strength and the confidence to keep going, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand that, but I kind of wanted you to go more into like the frustration part. I don't want to dwell too much on it, but it seemed like it was like pointed in like certain directions, like certain. I'm not saying like you don't have to name drop certain platforms, but it's just like it seemed like it was you were fed up with just the process in general. Like, okay, I make the music. I'm a musician. I come up with this like my own creativity, but then maybe not so much shunning it, but like people are like not accepting you to their platforms. Right. So like, could you talk more about that, like the non-acceptance of certain platforms?
Exactly. Okay. Well, first things first. It was this one recent podcast guy that I was supposed to work with. I don't want to say the name because I don't want to put nobody on blast, but it was already set up and everything. But I guess once he got wind, because it's a whole team behind him and his podcast, and once he got wind of it, he said he didn't feel comfortable with some, like me coming up to their show. And
yeah, I'm gonna find that out. That's off the record. But I gotta find that out. I mean, like I've had women that are lesbian on our show, and I don't never need to see to be like biased towards somebody, like unless like what I'm saying, like unless you like making somebody uncomfortable like on purpose, like what I'm saying, like hey, you making advances that people aren't cool with. I don't understand why people would be like uncomfortable having you on a platform, because at the end of the day, if you look at it from a moral perspective, it's like we all people, we all human. Right. We all gonna make different choices. Right. But if you look at it from like maybe like a content base, you reach another audience when you interview people of different faiths and beliefs and different stuff. So
absolutely, and I wish that everybody thought that way, just because you can learn from anybody, no matter who the person may be. Right. Everybody is from different walks of life, and you can still learn from that person, even if you may not be used to seeing it, or even if you may not be, like too familiar with the person. You can still learn from them. And I'm one of them people, like I'm just really open-minded. Like I can get along with anybody.
Right.
And that sucks, but it's their loss, not mine.
Yeah, and I just feel like it's a negative kind of like it kind of goes both ways. Like in the trans community or the LGBTQ community, it's not a one size fit all. It's not like there are some people who give the trans community like a bad name, where they may like mutually like hook up with somebody or have a friendship or whatever, and then they just like try to like out that person. And I just feel like over the years, like we live in our world now is more free than anything. Right. Like where
exactly
you can be who you want to be. You can do what you want to do. Yeah. And you shouldn't be judged.
Yeah.
But I also feel like in the past there may have been like a negative like thing about trans because it's because some men aren't comfortable, saying like, hey, I like the same sex or trans women. So I just feel like I don't,
Yeah, I feel you on that. My thing is with that though, I feel like you have to group them people with them, like I feel like everyone's not like that. Like even if you do have a bad run-in with someone, you know what I mean, that may not be respectful of boundaries and things like that, it's still, regardless, that's one person. You cannot categorize people off of base of what one person's actions were. Like you can't do that.
No.
And I just feel like that with everybody. Like it's the same thing when it goes to like men. Like you can be talking about a man that's not taking care of his child versus men that do. Like, you know what I mean? Just because someone may be a deadbeat, that don't mean all men are deadbeats.
Deadbeats, yeah. So yeah, like to my original point, one size doesn't fit all. Like
exactly.
At the end of the day, you have to judge everyone on a case by case basis, get to know them, and if you for people that's gonna listen to this, unless somebody is like I don't know, like a rapist or like a child molester or like beat women, like you shouldn't. Outside of that, you shouldn't discriminate on people who. Yes, are asking to come on your platform.
Right. I have a lot of those type of bars in my new project coming because honestly, like I really dug deep into my life and the things that I've been going through with this project. So a lot of that will be addressed.
Yeah, definitely. So back to like like growing up and stuff like that. Like when did you know, or like when did you get to the point to where you wanted to know, like, I want to be trans, or I am trans?
I'm gonna be real. It was honestly recently.
Okay.
Because probably give me a year ago, I was still having my facial hair and just, doing my thing, like still just like feminine, but not fully like trans.
Right.
But this year, some told me that I just feel like I wasn't, that whole time that I was in that phase of me, I felt like I was not confident in myself and I wasn't knowing of who I really was.
Right.
And I had to realize and sit down and realize, like, like, you mad feminine, like, and I always have been this way since a kid. So I don't know why not just go all the way out with it.
Yeah.
So I would say it was partly the beginning of this year.
Okay. So like your family dynamic and things like that, were they acceptant? Like, did you have like any family members try to like talk you out of it, or talk you through it, or like, or encourage you, like like negative, both negative and positively? Did you have family members who encourage you, or disencourage what you was doing?
Well, absolutely. It's a lot of my family that I actually had to part ways with just because of me being me. And it's fine. Like, I know everybody's going to have their own opinion, but at the end of the day, that's not going to stop me.
Right.
And that's not going to make me not be who I am.
Right.
So I just had to learn to let bygones be bygones with the fact that you feel how you feel. And that's it. But yes, I have, lost a lot of like close family relationships that I've had with people just because of me transitioning. And it really sucks because it was really like bonds there,
Right,
regardless of anything else.
Yeah. But what about on a positive side? Like, who are some people that encouraged you?
Yes, I do have a lot of people in my family that are very supportive of me and what I'm doing, because anybody that knew me knew that this was always who I was.
Right.
It's just the fact that I was a child, and as a kid, you can't really steer off. I felt like back in them days, I grew up when it was a little bit more hard to be even coming out and saying, oh, I'm gay.
Yeah. Right.
Like, that was people's biggest nightmare back then, just because of what was going on, and the killings, and like all of the little stereotypes with the diseases and all this other things. Like, it's a lot of nasty things that people put on my community. And I feel like my family in the beginning was trying to steer me away from it. Like, they would tell me like, oh, I think personally this is just a phase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't who you really are. This is just a phase. And I had to let them know, even if it is a phase, this is my life.
Right.
So regardless of if you feel like it's just a phase for me, that's how you feel. I'm going to continue to live how I want, and that's it. But I do have people that are very supportive. Like, my mom is very supportive of me. All my aunts, my grandmother, like the people that matter are supportive.
So are there any male figures in your family that are supportive?
Now that's where I have the problem. Not really. Like, it's probably like a couple, like, my grandfather is still very supportive of me. Couple of my cousins, but even when I get around some of them, like, the energy
they still have to get used to it.
Yeah, the energy now is just different. Like, it feels like they're getting to know someone new, as if they haven't met me before.
Right.
And that can be hard sometimes, but like I said, I'm just gonna keep doing me, and that's it. They're gonna have to get used to it, and that's it.
Yeah, of course. So with dealing with all that, like, I usually ask these type of questions, and I want to point this question to you specifically, but like, dealing with all this and transitioning more recently, like, how was your like mental health? Like, how was your state of mind? Like how do you process this transition? Because in the LGBTQ community, and mostly like trans men and trans women, there are a lot of like depression and suicide and So how is your mental health? Like how do you deal with the transition and different things every day?
Yeah, honestly, I do know that it's a lot of people that have to juggle their emotions and really sit down and come to terms that this is who you are now. But me, I'm not really. I'm sorry. Like, even when I do talk to like my doctor and like my therapist and like anybody that I'm like talking to, like they ask me those questions and I let them know I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I'm perfectly fine. I'm still happy. I still get up and go and turn up. Like, and I feel good. Like, I feel better than I ever did. I felt like that young version of me was a child that was trapped in a cage. And now I'm free.
Right.
And that's it.
So I want to go back to something you just said. You said therapy. Like, so how long have you been in therapy, and how did you get into therapy, and what progressions or changes have you seen in yourself as you have been going to therapy?
Well, I started therapy beginning of this year only because last year was my first year really, really taking like music seriously. And this was the first time I was really becoming like a part of like events and performing and opening for rappers, and like all of these different opportunities was being hit, and I was being put in front of these eyes, not realizing that people are still going to have their opinions.
Right.
And, when I get on that stage, everybody may not be as accepting as they would be towards like, anybody else. But after that whole year went by, I told you the beginning of this year, like I was like really trying to search for myself and figure out who I was. And my transition is what really drove me to go and seek therapy so that I can really, understand what's going to be going on with me, because these are people that are actually like specialists in working with transgender women. Right. So, I just knew that this would be a good move for my mental health, and that's what made me seek therapy.
I understand. Yeah, and I could relate to that because I know in my mind at some point I want to go back to therapy, like just to like get clarity on like externally, because when you're dealing with family and when you're dealing with friends, their clouded judgment and their perception of you is always going to like cloud their advice.
Exactly.
Because we go through things and we only know things that we go through. Like we both can be going through something like right now, but we only gonna keep it in our head. You only allow so many people to know what's going on, and even if you explain to them like this is what I'm going through, only you know to your core what you're going through. Exactly. So nobody really gonna know like what I'm really going through.
Really battling.
Yeah. So I could relate to you in that capacity as far as like having family that you grow up with and you live in your whole life. But sometimes they just can't relate to you. Like, it has its point.
Exactly. And you can't really sweat it. You just got to keep it pushing, because even if they family or not, like, it's friends that I have that's more, like, supportive of me than my family. So I really don't try to, like, let that bother me just because we blood.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah, I can understand that. And they don't have any choice but to respect that, respectfully. I mean, because we're all adults,
Exactly.
Yeah. So, music-wise, I was listening to what you were saying earlier about music and just starting it up. So, like, at what age or what time of your life did you know that you wanted to do music? And then, we'll go on from there.
Okay. Well, as a kid, I grew up in, like, churches and choirs and things like that. So, I was already, like, prone to singing and harmonies and like those type of things just because of that. So once I feel like throughout school and throughout like my little, growing up time, I was always a part of music classes. Like anybody that know me knows that I was always like in like one of the top music classes of the school, even when I got to high school. So it was always something that I've seen in my future. But I didn't think I would be rapping. Back then, I was more of a singer,
Okay.
Which I still dibble and dabble in. But I'm not, like, full-blown singer.
Right.
But, like, I feel like once I left high school, it was me and a whole bunch of my friends in the car. They all straight dudes, mind you. And I was still my flamboyant self at that time.
What school did you go to?
I went to Cornerstone Health High School.
Okay.
That's over there on Outer Drive in like 6 now.
Yeah, but I'm familiar with that
right
area.
near Old Redford.
Yeah, yep, I get what you're saying.
Yes, I went there, and a lot of the boys there, like I kept the relationship with them after school, and they always knew who I was. Because in high school, I had no fucks given about what nobody thought. That was when I really started just being like, as just who I was.
Right.
But yeah, we was all in the car, 2017, just smoking, and one of my brothers already was rapping. So he just started playing beats, and like all of us in the car started trying to write lyrics and actually like find something to the beat and like freestyle to different beats. And he was the first person to really sit down and show me, look, this is how you write a rap line by line by line. Like, I didn't know how to do it and articulate it until he showed me.
Right.
So it would have to definitely be 2017 when I really sat down and I started doing this shit.
So you kind of like fairly young. So how old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay, so you young. So you definitely got room to keep growing and expanding and everything. So
Right.
More recently, like, have you dropped any projects? Have you dropped any projects already? Have you dropped any singles? Like, where are you at in the stage in your music career?
Well, right now, I'm getting ready to drop a project, but I'd have recently before I've dropped 2 mixtapes. One was called Get a Grip. The other one was called Think Pink. And that the last time that was like November, the last time that I dropped. So it's been almost a year now. But I feel like recently I dropped a video for one of my lead singles to my album that's coming. It's called Bad Mama Scammer. It was a little bit explicit, I'm not gonna lie. And it got some mixed reviews because blogs are posting it, and it's down the third. Like, the Detroit rap page had ended up posting it, and it was so, if I like really was to sit here right now and show you those comments, like,
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Where my phone at?
Let's talk about it.
Let me show you, because it was very sad. Like, it was good, but it was sad because it was some people that was being very ignorant in those comments, and I was just I was letting it slide because you can't really let people's opinions really get to you, but it was very, very ignorant. I'm about to show you, and it got like a whole bunch of comments.
Yeah, the internet can be definitely cruel. It can definitely be. Trust me, I've seen my fair share of it. I can even admit I've done especially like on like Metro Detroit news page, like where it be like people be just like, oh, free that nigga, he just killed 6 niggas. I'm like, fuck that nigga, rotten piss. He just killed 2 kids and 4 women. Like, fuck that nigga.
Exactly. Exactly.
Then they get to DM me. That's my man. I'm doing some elementary.
But just because you knew him, that mean what he did was right. Like,
man, Brody took a perk and lost his mind. Fucky.
Let me show you. It was just so crazy.
Yeah.
It's so many. Like, they post so many people.
So, like, did you like ask them to post it or like?
Yeah, it was. I was on my promo run because I had just dropped the single and whatever, and I had already been in contact with them for like over a year. But I at that point I was like, okay, let me see what this gonna do.
Right.
Because I was obviously trying to promote the single.
Yeah.
And it did good. Like, it was straight men in the comments that was saying that the song was fire, and people was coming at them saying they was gay because they was actually complimenting the song.
Right.
It was too much. Just too much. And it's coming up. It's somewhere in this little era. But it was just very sad.
Yeah.
It was very sad.
So, out of all of those comments that you can think of, how many comments were positive?
Probably a good, like, half of the comments were actually positive.
Were there mostly like women, or
so it was half and half. Like some women was commenting saying good things, some of the men was commenting saying good things about it. You know what I mean? Okay, I found it. You can really go through if you want.
Let me see. Let me see. I'm gonna mute it just for the. Okay, so you got somebody that said they met you and got to see your talent. You got people. I see E management in here. Shout out, bro. He part of the. Yeah, he a good guy. Yes. Okay, so I see a couple people. Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna get that back to you.
Yeah,
that
shit it's really sad.
I didn't even really get too deep in the comments, but that one comment I seen, 2 comments I seen, I'm like, nah, man, you can't be doing that. Like that shit wild.
It's so disgusting, and it's like, even if you got an opinion towards someone, why come at the people that don't think like you when they're just complimenting someone on the music? Right. Like, I don't understand that.
So I got a question. So, do you think any of those people will actually like say that to you? Like if they seen you perform and they'd be like, you know?
No, because I'm not gonna lie, I perform a lot. Like I really be out here. So it's like even at my performances, people don't be coming up to me and saying those type of things. I don't hear nobody in the crowd saying nothing. Yeah. Like, you know, if they not like supporting, because a lot of the times the girls be screaming so loud that they can't even say nothing. Right. But the men, I don't hear them say nothing. A lot of times they be in the crowd bopping their heads, but then when it's time to actually like clap, you will hear more of the women than the men.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because women are more supportive when it comes to like the LGBTQ and different things and stuff like that.
That's absolutely true.
Because I've seen, it was an artist that I seen you kind of like performing with. Like he was performing and you kind of like was helping with his set. Like I've seen him perform. I can't remember his name on top of my head, but tall dude, kind of skinny. I think I might have been like dancing or something. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah. I seen him perform. Okay. And I seen a couple dudes like not say things to him, but I seen them say like derogatory terms. Yeah. Like when they actually heard what he was rapping about. Like, cause you've heard some of his songs, like you know what he's talking
about. He's good
like,
too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you have an ear for this shit, then you should be able to get right past that and just listen to the bars.
Yeah, facts.
And that's it.
So, like, what artists do you draw inspiration from and try to like pattern yourself after?
Well, a lot of people already know that I love me some Nicki.
Oh yeah, I can tell.
Yes, she's always gonna be my number one inspiration. I don't care what nobody say, and she's a lot of these other girls' number one inspiration too. So I'm not the only one.
Right.
But I love Nicki. I always been infatuated with Lauryn Hill, just because of how intelligent she is and like how she really like was telling us like the insides of like the creative process and stuff. Like that helped me a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Just going back to her old interviews and all of that, it helped me. I also really, really like, as far as like the men, I really fuck with Eminem. Okay. He's always been like somebody that, even like I was just playing him earlier today. I don't care what nobody say, he'll never go out of style to me. I love Drake. I love Wayne. I love Biggie. I love Pac. I like Rakim. Detroit rappers, I love Vezzo. I love a lot of them, honestly, especially today, because a lot of them are just doing their thing, like PZ.
There's definitely a big spotlight on the city.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think about the Detroit rap scene and how it's grown and how it's changed since you've been an artist?
I'm just honestly so excited to see it, and it's just because I feel like for many, many years people would kind of like try not to pay Detroit as much attention as they should have, because the talent always been here.
Right.
So, but I feel like they will be so, worried about Southern rappers or people like, from the West Coast and stuff like that. Like, but today, everybody living for Detroit. Like, everybody living for the way we talk. I didn't even know we had an accent.
Hey, listen, Detroit accents sound like Dexter's Laboratory, if you think about it. Like, for real, like, you'd be like, yeah, the liquor store. you be thinking like liquor store, like people want to be like so proper. You be like liquor store, like like you know what I'm saying, like
liquor store,
like just certain shit, like you like Detroit definitely got a slang because I've lived in different places. I done lived in Chicago, I lived in Wisconsin, I lived in Virginia, I lived a couple places, and I listen to their slang and how they talk, and I'm like, okay, it's always kind of like city country, but then when you get in Detroit, you know, like yeah, we got an accent for sure.
Right. I obviously won't be able to tell. But.
Yeah, we definitely got a slang to us, but so like your project that you got dropping next week, let's get into that. Like what producers or other artists are you working with, and what can we expect from this project?
Well, this is the most features that I've done on a tape, because honestly, I really don't. I was just kicking off my own music, just releasing my own music, so I wasn't as worried about collabs. But as of this year, I don't know what's been going on, but everybody from literally like all around different states, different like places of the US is just hitting me, like trying to get songs with me, and that's why I have about like 15 features out already with 15 different people from different states.
Okay.
So it's like, it's going to be a lot of, like, because obviously with me doing that for them, you know how the business go.
Yeah.
I had a project on the way too. So obviously, okay, I'm doing this for your project. So let me send you something off mine.
All right.
So a lot of them will be on this project, and it's about 7 features.
So what artists, or what's a few of them that you can like disclose? I know you want to keep some of it like for the anticipation.
Well, they see it on my Instagram anyway. It's this girl named The Real DB. I met her at one of these performance venues that we was both performing at, and she's really, really dope. She's really pretty. Like, this is my first time actually doing a song with a female rapper.
Okay.
And I think that everybody's gonna love that one. That's a bop. I also got a song with another straight guy. He happens to be my producer too. His name is Al. You know, this is not the first time I've worked with straight dudes when it comes to like a song, but he's very like how you are, very like down to earth and stuff. He's just like that. Like, you can talk to him about stuff, like he's open-minded, free-hearted, all of that. And I found this song, it was perfect, so he got on it.
Okay.
And yeah, I got others. It's a whole bunch of people from my community that I put on this tape too, just because I don't want people, you know, thinking that I don't work with my girls too.
Right.
And that's it.
So are you signed? Are you independent? Like, what's your status as far as like being signed?
Right. I'm not signed right now. It's people, like, I'm in talks with different labels and stuff, but my thing is, like, I really want to take my time with that, just because I don't want to get myself into no type of
like 360 deal,
no
20 album, $1,500 deal. Yeah, like you'll be surprised how many artists sign like bad deals just for the sake of saying they signed to somebody. Like, exactly. I know an artist personally like that got signed for like 5,000. You know what I'm saying? They got to come out with 6 projects, but the catch to it is they can only release when the person they signed to can tell them they can drop.
See, and
so unless they go and do like a Prince type of thing where I'm gonna change my name, you know, and go under this alias, like they ain't gonna be able to drop if that relationship goes sour. And it seemed like it's already going the other direction.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear. I don't want that happening. Even people like Cash Doll was very open with that, like how when she first came in the game, and she was like signed to someone for like, I think she said she only met that person like literally a week before, and he was stopping her from releasing her music. People was wondering like, damn, why Cash not dropping, and people didn't know that she was stuck in a contract that she could not release music.
Well,
so
I watched the interview from the guy that she signed to, and the way how he explained it's kind of cap. Like,
oh,
far
really?
as like,
for her? side, or
because before then, she was a exotic dancer, so it's like I signed you. Can you really rap? I'm just kind of like helping you, like I'm more like a big homie. Like, okay, you need this for the studio, I'm gonna go get that for you. I'm gonna give you this money, and then once you see like fame and want to go do something, it always gonna happen like that. Where you got the person you signed to, they sign you to a bad deal, and you get stuck, or they sign you to. They don't really necessarily give you a deal. They just give you money and opportunity and put you in the right direction.
That is gonna work,
and you think, and it works for you, but then you come back and be like, I don't know you nothing. You good looking out. You feel me? Like it's a two-sided type of thing where
exactly. Well, I understand that, but I do also feel like just from her side, like her being an artist, like that's just. You're gonna take them risks, like you're gonna run across them people that's like they're gonna help you, but I feel like it's always something in the back of their head that they want.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's business. You know what I'm saying? Like if you sign a deal, with like a cousin, that cousin is still gonna be, and they spending money to create records. Mm-hmm. Family, blood related, they still gonna want their money back. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you gotta artists, I feel like, especially younger artists, gotta look at labels and different things like as a loan. Like we like you, it's untapped potential. Like they taking that risk, but they don't, like, you might not blow. Like certain artists might not blow. So it's like you never know. You just kind of like, it's just trial and error at the end of the day. So
that's true. That's definitely true.
Yeah, but so how many songs is on this project?
It's 18.
Okay, so you got a healthy amount.
Yeah. It's been, people been waiting for too long. I had to feed my babies.
Yeah,
that was it.
So, what type of anticipation are you getting from your supporters and fans for this project?
Fucking ecstatic. Like, I've never really got this amount of like, oh my God, like we've been waiting for this, because I actually like earlier this year, probably in like March, I was planning on dropping this project, but it was not ready. Like, and I felt like at that time I was getting in the studio and making music, but it was not my best. So I didn't want to drop at that time. I felt like I would have just been trying to drop just to kind of like, keep people eyes on me, and I just don't really care about all of that. Right. So I was like, fuck it, I'm pushing it back until I'm ready. And yeah,
I understand. So, as far as how did you come up with the name?
Well, because I love the color pink, that's one thing. And then rain, I really wanted to just let people know, like, I'm raining. Like, this is what you're witnessing right now is the start of it all, and I'm going to keep raining. So that was the reason why I went with pink rain. And I also just always like been like that type of person that had confidence to the point where like I look at myself as a queen, and that's just what it is. Yeah. So
definitely. So I know I asked you if you were signed or not, but like, do you have like a manager or somebody that's helping you navigate your career?
Well, I do. It's not like I have a manager, like a designated manager, but I do have a lot of people that I'm in contact with that I've like get advice from about certain things. Or just a second opinion, just to, like even the guy you was talking about, EA Management.
Yeah.
Me and him have been talking for about almost 2 years now. He always gives me very like healthy advice if I need, anything, or if he see that I'm getting ready to release. Like, he's always very supportive. So him, I think we actually even talked about that before, but if it happened, it happened.
Do you feel like that'd be a good fit?
Personally, I wouldn't see why it wouldn't. It seemed like they have their heads screwed on and they know about marketing.
Yeah, and they kind of tapped into the scene, because a lot of the artists that not a lot, but let's just say like if I've interviewed like 7 people, maybe 4. Maybe 5 have been like through his events, like especially like at the compound and stuff like that, like those open mics and those different contests and stuff like that. So we all kind of tapped in with each other.
I actually popped up at one of their their open mics that they was having probably about a year ago, and
Okay.
it was fun. Like, I really had a good time. I was a little bit nervous because that was one of my first times really performing in front of people, but it was a good time. It turned out good. Everybody was respectful. It was a good night.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
My advice to you, just on like on the music part, it's definitely good to have a manager. It's definitely good to have somebody speak for you and to get you into these different spaces. Like, talent can get you to places, but somebody that can represent that talent outside of yourself can really elevate you to a different part.
Right.
It's people that's not even talented, but they are well represented.
Yeah.
And they get opportunities. You be looking like, well, damn, why they keep doing this? Because
Absolutely.
they got people in their corner and they have a manager that can get them to
Yeah.
where they need to go.
I'm looking for that. I'm not gonna lie. I just haven't found it yet. I haven't found anybody that I feel like, okay, I can trust you. You know, let me go ahead and let's work. Like, I haven't found that person yet, just because of it is very hard to just trust people, knowing that, first of all, there's not many people in the industry like me at all. So that person will have to come into.
Well, maybe not as much locally, but I mean nationally. Yeah,
yeah, of course, it's like a lot of us that rap, but or like that do music, but I'm just saying, like, we don't. Like, from what I see, I feel like the only 3 people that I can really say is repping from my like community is, I say, Saucy Santana, Lil Nas X, and even the transgender girl Kim Petras. Like, those type of people, those are people that are like staples in the industry for my community, because they're the only 3 really that you see doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not as you mentioned it, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's others, but maybe they aren't. Maybe they don't have that certain spotlight or where we can reference them in this particular conversation.
Right. Maybe, and I wish that's the thing I really want it to be moving forward. I'm gonna keep praying every single day. I'm gonna keep doing my thing so I can be up there. Right. And that's it.
Yeah, definitely. In the city of Detroit, do you feel like the LGBTQ community is well represented? And when I say well represented, like, as far as like a community, but also like with events and integrating people who aren't where they want to be as far as their journey, and then kind of like integrating in events and stuff like that. So do you feel like it's well represented in this community, in your community?
In like Detroit?
Yeah.
I don't think we're where we need to be. You know, I do feel like it's a lot of work. You know, people, I'm not going to be too hard and act like my city just the worst, because you can go really anywhere and there's going to be ignorance there.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so I'm not going to be too hard on Detroit, but I do feel like it's a lot of room for improvement. You know, some people just still have their opinion, still feel how they feel. And it's not really too much I can really say about how they feeling towards me. I can just keep pushing.
Yeah,
that's it.
I understand. So, what do you feel like needs to change, and what do you think, like, both positively and negatively? Like I'm not negatively, but like, what are some things that need to change, and then what are some things that are a norm that needs to change, like that already are set in the community, but that needs to change?
Well, I do feel like people just need to, even if you're not used to something, just keep it moving, baby. Like, just keep, doing you, keep, living in your moment. I feel like you shouldn't dwell too much on things that you're not too familiar with. And be respectful. Like, you could have a little brother that's growing up that could decide that or a little nephew or a cousin or whoever that you really, really love, that one day they might decide that they want to transition. They might decide that they want to be gay. You know what I mean? And you just gotta really, like, you gotta think about things like that. Like, how would you treat that person?
Right.
And as long as everybody thinks about that, then I feel like we'll be going somewhere.
Right.
You know.
So, like, to play devil's advocate, like, how do you feel about people who question, like, trans women when they don't disclose, like, hey, I'm trans, like, a lot of the time? Because that's a lot of what I hear as far as, like, quote unquote straight males, you know, because I feel like if you're a male and you're worrying about what trans women are doing, if you're not interested in that, you should just mind your business, like I said, and be respectful. But for dudes who are like into that, or you know, that are attracted to trans women, like, how do you feel about trans women who don't disclose that they aren't trans?
I don't think that that's right. I personally feel like that's where sometimes, I'm not gonna say that every single situation that, you know, you see with transgender women like being killed or something like that is related to that, but sometimes that is the case. You know what I mean? Sometimes it is, you know, that, you know, sometimes they won't say anything, and then once, you know, a man get in the bed with them and find out, then it's just like at that point it's too late.
Yeah.
So I just don't advise girls to do that. Let them know. Be safe. You know, if they choose whatever they choose to do with the information that you tell them, let them choose to do that, but at least you told them.
Right.
And that's how I feel. Like, I just feel like you should always be honest and let them know.
Yeah, I agree, because I'm not gonna like attribute trans death to that, but even that's like a misconception. Like, when I hear about sometimes trans women dying, I think like, man, did this person, you know, tell you know their origins, or did this person was just that controlling and wanted to just, you know, do this to this person?
Yeah,
just
sometimes
because
that is the case too. You know, sometimes people just can't handle the fact that they know that they're, you know, they have feelings for this a transgender woman.
I feel like sometimes they can't control like their sexual urges. Like, they may think about it at first and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Then they do it, and they like, man, they gonna tell somebody, or they gonna like.
And that's the thing, their guilt will start to fuck with them, and that's what happens in cases with these men too, where you see them doing that to these girls, and it's just not right. Like, if you feel like you gotta be guilty about doing something, don't do it. Like, stick to girls, then, you know, stick to the girls. Right.
So, outside of music, have you ever thought about like expanding your horizons, like outside of music, like, you know, because the Detroit scene is real popping, but the Detroit movie scene and Detroit entertainment as itself is like it's popping as well. Like, you see people, you know, every day on like Tubi and YouTube, and being influencers and going to different like businesses and showing us like why you should go there and why you should do that. Because I know with our platform, you know, we mostly like, you know, we do interviews, but we most are like cannabis and stuff like that. So I can understand from that point where like you influence people, like, go to this dispensary, don't go to this dispensary. So like, as you grow outside of being an artist, do you see yourself being in different forms of entertainment?
Absolutely. I want to do movies. Like, I want to do a lot of different things. But the thing is, I don't want
to be typecast.
Yeah. Because I feel like, well, it's like, what do they say? Like, jack of all trades,
master of nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I don't want. Because I really want this shit to hit. I feel like I got a lot of stuff to say that people need to hear, regardless of, like, you know, what I may be talented in. Growing up, I used to always do plays, and like I used to always dabble in other things, and I knew that music was what I really wanted to do. So
I feel like just looking at you as an artist, I definitely feel like you need to expand your horizons, like maybe doing like vlogs, like you go to the studio, like, you know, you have somebody, you know, record you going through your process, doing more interviews, putting yourself out there, because a lot of the times it's not always because I don't want you to like think that like it's not like okay, you're trans and people not mess with me because you're trans. There's gonna be some people that don't mess with your music because they simply don't know you,
Right.
and you have to
That's where
broaden your
marketing comes into play.
Yeah.
Like you have to. That's one of the things that I really feel like this project. I had to sit down and make a whole vision board, and like write things down that I knew. Okay, this is gonna be good for marketing. This is gonna help promote, because regardless, like you said, like it's about reaching different audiences and having people actually hear you. People may not. It's a lot of people rapping, a lot of people singing, a lot of music being dropped a saturated every market. Day. Yeah. Exactly. So that's a big thing that you just said.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
So like I know you say you don't have a manager, not signed, but like do you have your own personal team? Like people like, okay, you gonna do this, you gonna do that, you gonna post for me? Because everybody not on social media, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm starting to fall back, like just from doing all the different stuff on the podcast, like because you can kind of like overwork yourself, like
that's true,
like you can you can do so many different things and fall behind on what you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's true. I don't really have anybody helping me with like as far as posting things and stuff like that. I don't have anybody to help me with that, but I am on this YouTube reality show called Locked In.
Okay.
And we have a whole franchise of people that do like the posting and like the episodes. Like it's a competition show, so I don't know if you like familiar with like Big Brother, The Challenge, like those type of shows. I'm on one of them, and I'm actually one of the like producers on the show.
Okay. So yeah,
like I be in the field with that stuff, like having to like have a whole team to do it. But as far as music and like my personal stuff that I just got going on, I really do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's sad to say because I want a team, but I can't. Right now, I gotta focus on how I'm about to get heard by who I want to get heard by.
Right.
You know, and whoever want to help me in this journey, they can.
Yeah.
But you know, it's still very new for people, so
I understand. Yeah. So like, what's next for you? Like, what's the next piece to the puzzle? Obviously, we got the project coming out this coming up weekend. But what else can people expect from you and look forward to?
Well, after the project drops next month, I'm supposed to be doing like this very, very big opening for an artist that everybody loves. I can't say just because we signed the contract.
Yeah, NDA.
Yeah, so it's like I can't disclose the person, but this is gonna be one of the biggest moments thus far that I've ever had. I've opened for other people like Glorilla.
Okay.
Like I've opened for. It was probably like, well, it was like, when was this? This was like 3-4 months ago. I had opened for Kodak in Miami.
Damn.
And yeah, like I opened for artists, but the thing is like that I feel like personally that's good, but you know, you still got to go out of hand to get these people to stay engaged with you after the show, because that's it. But yeah, like I have this big opening coming up. Can't wait for that. I'm also indulging more in writing scripts.
Okay.
I don't know why as of lately I just been wanting to put together like this cute little show that's just gonna like showcase my struggles and what I go through. Like, and I also been talking like with like people like that actually put together documentaries, because I want one of them too.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a lot of different things I'm trying to put together with this rollout of this project, and
yeah, that's definitely dope. Real quick before we get out of here, do you smoke?
Absolutely.
What type of strands do you like? What dispensaries you rocking with?
Well, I don't really fuck with dispensary.
Okay.
Just because I like street weed. I don't know. It always do it for me when the weed man pull up and put it in my hand versus going to the dispensary. I don't know.
I like a little bit of both.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like a little bit of both.
But you know what? The thing is, like, I like my weed to be potent, and I feel like a lot of these dispensaries don't be having the most potent.
I ain't gonna lie.
Weed.
We don't have no affiliation with this dispensary, but everybody if you on the east side, you definitely gotta go fuck with the Cut.
Okay.
The Cut. It's on Gratiot. And Houston Whittier, you gotta go fuck with them. They the best dispensary on the east side.
Period.
Best dispensary on the west side in the city. I'm gonna go with Nuggets. Nuggets, they Grand River and Telegraph. They definitely got the fire, and they haven't been open too long, but they definitely fire though. So
Okay.
everybody got to check them out.
Period. I'm gonna have to pull up.
Yeah, but shout out to all the farmers and growers too. You know what I'm saying? I'm tapping in with y'all too. You know what I'm saying? I just left Battle Creek. You know what I'm saying? Handling some cannabis business with a grower and some farmers. So
Okay.
I love, the best of both worlds, where you can, go to the dispensary and you can go to
if you can find one that's really like how you just shouted out them and said they was good. Yeah, it's something you gonna find that got good weed.
And then we definitely get better in the city. So
yeah, for sure.
I fucks with it. But it was great having you though. You know what I'm saying? You definitely had a great dope vibe. You know what I'm saying? You were very forthcoming and transparent about all the different things that you got going on, and we appreciate you for coming through.
Thank
for sure.
You for having me. This was so fun.
Definitely. But it's been Smoke Some Podcast, episode 22. It's the Visionary Mind. I see it, I think it, I make it happen. Episode 22. We out.